Hey, I'm Keisha White, founder of White House Branding Studio. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to be very open and very candid about how I have managed to make it as a full-time freelancer for the last 7 years. It'll actually be 8 years in a few months from now in September. And at the time of filming this video, it is currently April of 2026. And so for a quick little background on me, I began in corporate sales when I was maybe around, I think 24 years old. I'm 37 now. I'll be 38 in about a month from now. And so I spent 7 years from my 20s all the way up to age 30 in corporate B2B sales. Hated all those jobs, was not happy with it. I really didn't think I was even going to be in sales that long in the first place, but I really kind of ended up getting stuck in it. And I ended up starting to learn web design on the side of my corporate jobs as a bit of a career change, because I had tried to change careers in corporate a few times, and every time I tried, I failed. And I ended up just having to go from one sales job to the next sales job, to the next sales job, and to the next sales job. And so I felt like I was stuck in this endless cycle of being trapped in a department in corporate that I feel like I'm kind of okay at sales, but it's not my strongest suit when it comes to being extremely pushy. And in the corporate space, when you're in B2B sales, they want you to be very, very pushy because you have very aggressive quotas that you have to meet every single month. And so to give myself an escape, I ended up learning website design on the side. I will say honestly, back then, around that age 29, 30, I thought I was going to be in corporate a lot longer. But I ended up just getting fed up with that final sales job that I had in 2018. And at that point, I had a good amount of money saved up and I had paid off credit card debt, things like that. So I was able to finally just take the leap and to just try the whole business thing out full time. We'll also say my expenses were very low back then. Overall, the cost of living was just a lot cheaper in 2018 anyway, but it was a lot cheaper than what I'm having to pay for now, because my sister and I lived together at that time as well. So that definitely helped me to stretch the money that I had saved a lot longer, because I was splitting my bills and my rent with my sister. So there are 6 things that I'm going to cover with you all to tell you what has helped me sustain things as a freelancer for 7 years. I know oftentimes it can seem daunting and people may not even believe you're making real money, or they may think you're like scamming or just doing something shady in the background. And a lot of times people just don't think freelancing is possible as a career, but it definitely is. You have to have a little bit of business savvy when you're doing it, but it is absolutely possible with the right strategies. So I'm going to share what has helped me. So the first thing that helped me is saving my money. So this is one of the biggest things, because sometimes I see people, it's okay to kind of treat yourself if you have a large month, but at the same time, you're a freelancer, so you don't know when the next large month is going to come. So you don't want to overdo it with overspending when you have higher months, because you don't know when that lower month is going to come. And so my recommendation is to save as much as you can. Of course, you want to pay yourself enough to be able to live on, but you also want to just save a good amount. And the reason why, again, is because freelancing, it is up and down for your months. To me, the variations aren't like extremely drastic per se. Like the variations could just be a few $1,000s maybe from month to month. So it doesn't make a huge difference. But if I was overspending, I know it would make a huge difference. So what I love to do is to just consistently pay myself the same amount every single month. Even if I happen to make more than I typically make, I just let the money just stay in the bank and I save it until I may need it for like a slower month. So big tip there is to save money. Don't go crazy with adding too many business expenses and trying to add on employees and stuff before you're ready. It's okay to spend money on like contractors here and there. That's typically what I do. Like if I need help on a project and the budget for the project is big enough for me to be able to afford contractors, then sure, I will pay for some help. But if it's a smaller project, which many of my projects are, then I have to just do the work myself, because it would be a little bit overspending to be spending on contractors with smaller projects. So be careful with the expenses creep of trying to add all this stuff on to try to keep up with the Joneses in the business world, because sometimes people love to talk about their team this and their person this, and they are either A, overspending, or B, maybe they're hiring somebody overseas, which is fine, but when you're hiring overseas, the hourly rate is really low. So not the same as hiring like a real team member like in the States that's like a real full-time person. So be careful with your spending. Trying to think what else. Oh yeah, even spending money on these coaches and courses, be very careful with that. I definitely wasted some money with that in the beginning. So now I'm very intentional if I do spend something. One thing I did learn is that just because a coach costs more does not mean it's worth more. So I really don't recommend the expensive coaches. Anybody that to me is over maybe a couple $1,000s, I think is honestly a ripoff, because they're not giving you that much information. So in my opinion, a couple thousand is the maximum that you should be spending on a coach. Courses should be even cheaper. But just be careful with your money and make sure you spend wisely and you save, because that will help you sustain yourself over the long run as a freelancer. The next thing that I did to sustain myself as a freelancer for so long is to pay off debt. So the lower your bills every month, the less pressure you're going to have on yourself for the amount of money you need to bring in every month. As we know, our biggest expenses always going to be rent. Health insurance is a big expense as well. But the things that you don't really, that are just debt things that you just need to just knock those out so you can just not have that bill anymore, highly encourage you to just pay that stuff off and be done with it. So a few examples of that: if you can, try to get your car paid off. Like I paid my car off a few years ago. If you can, try to pay off student loans. Definitely pay off any credit card debt. To me, the credit card debt is the number one priority, because the interest rates on those are typically the highest out of everything. And try not to really use credit cards at all if you're a freelancer, because the interest is just so predatory, and it just has you paying so much extra money for things that you really didn't need to be paying for. So I only recommend using credit cards if you're going to pay it right off immediately. That's how I do it now, just to get points for whenever I occasionally take a trip. I can put those points towards a hotel. But as far as like carrying a balance on there and having to pay that interest back, that can have you in a very bad financial position if you're trying to freelance. So the less debt you have, the better if you want to freelance for the long term. That has helped me immensely when it has come to sustaining myself for this many years. Okay, the third thing that has helped me to sustain myself as a freelancer for 7 whole years now is to manage my business income using the Profit First framework. So I remember when I was a new freelancer, when I started booking a lot of projects all at once, and I saw my bank account slowly rise up a little bit. It really wasn't much. At the time, I thought it was a lot, but it wasn't. But I had all of my business income in one account. So having it in one account to me gives you somewhat of an illusion that you have more money for certain things than you think you have. So what I loved about the Profit First framework is that you get these percentages allocated to each area of your business. So it just helps you to kind of look at your money with a different lens. So instead of looking at it like it's just this huge amount of money that you can just spend on whatever, whether it's hiring a coach or sending yourself an extra $500 that month or something like that, you look at the money with a purpose. So for my percentages, I do 60% in my owner's compensation account, 20% into a business expenses account, 15% into a taxes account, and then 3% into a profits account. The profits account, not much of a purpose to that. It's kind of more of a rainy day account for me. In the book, he recommended that you pay yourself like a little bonus out of that account, but I never do that. I prefer to just save it. So seeing the money allocated to certain purposes helps me immensely when it comes to money management. And it helps me just put things into perspective. Like if I'm getting ready to hire some help, I check out the expenses account and what I have available there to see if I can really afford it. And if it's gonna be too much for what I have in the expenses account, I just don't do it. Because back in the day when I was newer in business, again, when I was hiring those overpriced coaches, if I would have had my money broken out like that, I feel like I would have saw quickly that I can't afford a 5-figure coach like this overpriced 10K business coach. Don't judge me. I was investing in those people at that time because I thought that when you pay more, you got more information, but you don't. And I learned that the hard way. So having money allocated to the various purposes helps you to put your money in perspective. It helps you to manage the money a lot better. And when you manage your money a lot better, you can sustain yourself for a longer term if you are a freelancer. So the fourth thing that has helped me to sustain myself as a freelancer for 7 years is marketing. So you have to promote yourself a lot, especially when you are new. I will say as time has gone on, I've gotten a little bit spoiled to where I've gotten a good amount of referrals and clients coming back to me. So I have kind of ebbs and flows where I may have to do a little bit more marketing, and then I have moments where I can kind of pull back and just do the work, do the actual web design work, and kind of pull back from marketing. But for the most part, if you are going to freelance or really any type of business in general, you constantly have to be promoting and marketing. So to me, that's something that a lot of people, I feel like for some reason, may not think about as much when they think about starting a business. But when you're starting a business, essentially you're turning yourself into a salesperson and a marketer. You're not just somebody that gets to go out and just do what you love all day. Like, you get to do a little bit of it, but the issue is that you need some people to do those things for. And in order for you to get those people in the door, they have to know you exist in order to be able to buy from you or to hire you. So the way to do that is very aggressive marketing. So when I got started, I was marketing everywhere. My primary channels for new clients has been LinkedIn and referrals, but I still kind of promote everywhere just for the heck of it, even though those other places don't bring me very much. I will say personal Facebook kind of brings me a little bit of people maybe from like school. Because it's even good to promote there on your personal social accounts, because you never know who from your past may need assistance with whatever it is that you do, or who may want to purchase the product that you sell. So aggressive marketing is the key, even if you feel like you're not getting the engagement that you want, because engagement now is so different than when I got started in 2018. 2018 engagement was so much better, but now engagement is tough. But I don't worry about that. As long as the information is out there, that's all I worry about, because even if you don't get the likes and the comments, you still get some impressions. And impressions means that people saw your post. So it's good to just keep that marketing up, even if you've been doing it a long time, because people may think you're out of business if you just go for months and months without posting anything at all. So even when I was pretty busy, I still would kind of drop in a post here and there every few weeks, just to show like, yeah, I'm still doing this, I'm still in business, because people are busy. So they aren't always thinking about us and our businesses. So it's our job to keep our businesses out there so we can stay top of mind for potential clients. So the next thing that has helped me to sustain myself for 7 years is providing a great client experience. So I am very intentional about how I communicate with clients with updates on their projects, letting them know what's going on, letting them know when they can expect the next step in the project to be completed. And I'm very organized with a project management system, and I onboard clients in an organized way so they know exactly what to do to get started. And so as a result of that, I get a lot of repeat business and I get a lot of referrals. So client experience is huge if you want to sustain yourself as a freelancer, because you're going to need those repeat customers and you're going to need the referrals. Because again, you're trying to pay your bills full time off of this stuff. So you need people to come back. You need them to send you more people, because yes, of course you can keep marketing to get new people, but for a sustainable long-term freelance business, you need a combination of like people coming back and people that are coming from your marketing. So be sure to provide a good client experience so your clients will want to come back and will want to refer other people to you. So the last thing that has helped me to sustain myself for 7 years is to be flexible and always be open to learning. So one of the downsides of business is that things change, the market changes, people change, the way you do things might have to change. So you have to be flexible This was something that when it kind of first happened in the beginning, it kind of caught me off guard and really threw me off. And I'm like, oh no, I thought I had my little wash, rinse, and repeat formula figured out. And I was kind of disappointed when I needed to make some shifts in how I was getting work or how I was marketing. But that's just the name of the game. Things just change out in the world. So sometimes the things you were doing for marketing before, you may have to change, or software that you were using, like in this area with web design, some of the software has definitely changed over the years. You have to learn a new software. Maybe you have to tweak your packages or your pricing sometimes based on the market and the economy. So you just have to be flexible. You have to be open to learning new things, and just know that just because something worked last year, that does not mean it's going to work this year. And then that doesn't mean you're a failure or you're not doing things properly in business. It just is the name of the game. Because even if you look at corporations and you see them hiring and rehiring and firing and releasing new products and cutting product lines, like they're doing the same thing, but on a much larger scale, trying to just keep their corporation profitable. So us as small business owners, unfortunately, we have to kind of roll with the punches and change as things go along as well. So hopefully that helped to provide some transparency from someone that has been a freelancer for the last 7 years. I know oftentimes this stuff can seem pretty mysterious and people can wonder how or is the person really making it work, but it definitely can work with some savviness, again, and by saving your money, being frugal, being someone that's given a good client experience, you get more clients coming in. Being flexible and open to change. Like when you're doing those things, you can definitely do well as a freelancer. So to get information about my branding and web design services, visit whitehousebrandingsstudio.com, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.